Hello, my name is Jasmine, also known as kuschelirmel on DeviantArt and on YouTube, and welcome to another installment of one of my video tutorials. Today I'm going to talk about how I go about planning a new manip and what I take into account when choosing stock. As a starting point, I've chosen these three images by face stock together with Kirli, and the way I'm choosing them is that I'm having a sort of idea for my image, and in this case I want them to stand behind a cauldron, and for that I will need to get rid of the table, so everything on the table has to be easily disposed of. So what you can see in the uppermost image on the left is that Kirli has her hands behind the lamp, and the glass face stock is holding is in front of one of the pumpkins. And the same goes for the hand for the glass face stock is holding in the second image below that. So what I chose was the image on the right one. It has a small portion of Kirli's hand at the lamp, but this is fixable. Once I have settled on an image, I'm starting with cutting it out, and I'm not doing it with the pen tool at this moment. I'm going to do it later with the pen tool, but now I just want to see if my images fit together, and I don't want to spend more time than is necessary. So I'm using a layer mask and invert the mask to get what I want on the mask, and now I'm deleting with a big hard brush what I don't need. So I'm already trying to figure out where the skirts are going to go, because they have black clothes on. It should even be possible for me with not so great skills in painting to get this right. So I'm going over these, just blocking in the color, getting rid of what is left on the mask on the group, and then I'm going to go in and fix Kirli's hand, which I'm doing now with a softer brush set to pen pressure, and now basically you never know that there was something in front of her. As soon as I'm finished with fixing the dresses, which is not going to be perfect now because it doesn't have to be, I'm going to take the witches into a new document. I'm using a width of 4500 and a height of 3000, which is usually about the biggest size I go, just personal preference, and then I'm putting them in and placing them. What you can see here is the 5 options of backgrounds that I had to choose from. And what I didn't like with the rightmost two was that the colors were not to my liking, and also the perspective doesn't seem to match really. Same with the perspective goes for the bottom left one. You're looking up at the wood and not down, so this doesn't really fit with the foreground. The top left one I really liked, and the middle one as well. What I ended up with was the middle one, mainly because that was the first one that I tried and it did fit. To get the tones right and a soft blue light in it, I chose to use a photo filter. You can find that at the adjustments panel at the bottom of the layers palette. I chose a bluish color and a lot of density to get what I needed. So next up I'm putting both of the layers into the actual document and putting them behind the 2 witches. Next up I'm going to place the cauldron. Here is one version of it that I have. So again with the quick selection and the layer masking, just to get a very quick and rough estimate of how it's going to fit together, putting it in, and And now you can see that the background should be a bit bigger, but I cannot make the background bigger because that would really reduce the quality of the image. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make everything else a bit smaller to make it fit. Now I'm going to experiment a little with the second version of the cauldron. Again, quickly mask it out and put it into the image, try to place it, and in this case even flip it horizontally because it's even better. And now you can see that the other one actually fits better because the perspectives match. And what doesn't match is the perspective basically of the girls, and if you were to put in an actual foreground, a ground where they could stand on, it doesn't really fit together. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put them further down at the canvas, add some more of their dress, and then crop the canvas so I don't have to put in more wood or forest at the top. Next up, I'm going to add some flames to the bottom of the cauldron and also some flames to the top, so it looks like there's steaming or boiling liquid in it. So what I'm looking for are pictures of fire that have a very black background, so I can put them on screen mode and use them like that. So what I'm looking for is images that look like the two on the left and not the two on the right, because on the right you have all the background still in there and it's pretty much impossible to get the fire extracted like this. So here you can watch how I'm putting different fire images in. I like putting different ones because flames never look exactly the same, and if you duplicate the same one over and over, it will look strange. So what I'm doing is I'm putting them in, putting them on screen mode, and making them smaller, and just placing them where I want them. What you can also see is that I'm trying different things and different combinations. Don't just put 3 things in, bam, that's it. Try to make them fit together. If you don't, it will probably look kind of strange in the end. A neat little trick to get some fog or mist going in the background is to use a cloud layer, put it in the background and play with it, different blend modes. I find hard light here works very well. Hard light, soft light, overlay, and also play with the orientation and the colors also. This is what you can see now. I'm starting to put adjustment layers clipped to the cloud layer. I'm using different ones to try and influence how exactly the clouds look. You can influence the brightness, contrast, levels, curves, and especially also the color balance like I'm doing right now. So you can get a lot of different looks with just adding one layer of clouds. To get a good basis for any light effects that you may want to put in, it is best to keep your background rather dark, and now that it's darker than before you can also see the fire pop more. And now it's also time for me to put in the second fire image as part of the bubbles in the cauldron. Again, at this stage I'm only masking it very, very quickly. I am not going to go into details, I'm just going to get the composition down and not spend too much time on any one item, because I may want to get rid of it again, and then it's harder to get rid of something that you've put a lot of effort in. So now you can see me repositioning the fire at the bottom, trying some more things, and also masking some things out. I found here is that I do not like really the composition. I want the witches to be a bit bigger, which I can do because I have the witches as a smart object, which means that the original image of the witches is attached to the PSD file, and when you enlarge it again, it will take the original pixels again, so it does not have to invent any pixels. Here you can see that it's still 95% of the original. How exactly you can use and abuse those smart objects I'm going to show you in a separate video. This is it for today. Stay tuned for the next video where we're going to take a look at the smart objects and on how to refine the image and get the lighting effects in.